a bot to buy Pokemon or other profitable, highly demanded items with a 9 to 5 is extremely hard. Most people think they can just get a bot, click start, and off it goes buying your items, but it is not that easy. They require setup. And people, once they find this out, think it's impossible to run a bot without being at your computer, and it seems that way, but it's not. So let's get into it. Is it the end of the world, or can we still make money from botting items? The core requirement to this whole thing is that the bot must be running 24/7. Let's say you have a home computer at home. In theory, you can leave this computer on 24/7. The first thing you're gonna have to do is make sure your computer doesn't go to sleep. You're gonna have to go into your computer settings and turn this off. The next thing we're gonna have to do, it is very ideal to turn your computer into a remote desktop. You can do this on Windows, you can do this on Mac computers, so you can connect from another device, whether it be your phone or another computer. These are requirements to do. Moving on from there, we have scenario 2. Let's say you have a laptop. You can put your laptop at home and turn it into a desktop PC. You can have the computer running all day. You will also need to do the same thing again, where you turn your computer into a remote desktop. If you have a laptop, it might be an issue because you might need to take your laptop with you sometimes. And if you can't leave your laptop at home and you have to have your laptop closed, guess what? Your laptop's closed and your bot isn't running. So this brings me on to the third option, is to buy a server. Servers can range anywhere from £20 a month. Basically, it's a virtual computer in the cloud that you can connect to from your home PC or from your laptop or from your phone, and you can connect to this computer and it will be on, constantly running 24/7. You can get these from a website called Hyonix. There'll be a link in the description, and you can do this with a H2 server. It costs about £20 enough. It's got enough power to run the bot 24/7. When it comes to running on a server, there are a couple of pros and cons. Pro number 1 is quite cheap. Pro number 2, they have extremely fast Wi-Fi. Point number 3, you can connect from any other computer, laptop, desktop PC, and also on your phone. Doing it on a phone is very finicky, I will be honest with you, but it is possible and it can be good in them life-saving moments where you just need quick access. The major drawback with running on a server is the device itself. One very common thing in the botting world right now is H-captures. These are captures that prove that you aren't a bot, and you have to solve a puzzle to get these to work. However, with a bot called Stellar AI, they have a functionality called one-click captures. The H-capture itself actually checks at your device. If it thinks that you aren't a bot, it won't make you solve the puzzle, and it'll just let you click on it and just send you straight through. And this can be a big decision maker in between you copping 5 products on Pokemon Center or you copping 50 products on Pokemon Center. Why this matters for servers is the server will 99.9% of the time have to solve captures manually. It will make you solve the puzzle. It'll make you select the dogs, select the cats, because H-capture fingerprint your device, go, this is a server. So that is the major drawback to a server. But obviously the pros are really good, and in most cases it can be really ideal. So a summary so far, you basically have 2 options if you're trying to bot with a 9 to 5. You basically turn your laptop or your desktop into a remote PC, you leave it on 24/7, you stop it from sleeping, and you allow it to be connected to from another device like your phone or a different laptop so you can access it on the fly. Option number 2 is get a server that is automatically a remote desktop PC so you can connect to it from tons of other devices. So there are your 2 options to solve the having my bot online running 24/7. So now that we've got that problem out of the way, there is an even larger problem at scale. Because we aren't going to have access to our bot 24/7, that means our bot has to be pre-set up beforehand. So that means that we need to be running specific products on specific websites already, so in case they do drop or they do restock, then the bot is already running and it's ready to pick it up and purchase it. It's a pretty easy solution to solve. However, to run a task on a bot, you must provide your bot with proxies. And for those of you who don't know what proxies are, it's how you get multiple different IP addresses, and there are different types of proxies out there. So first up, we have residential proxies, and these are the problem child. Think about it like an old mobile phone plan back in the day when you had to buy 2 gigabytes worth of data, which obviously costs more money. Exact same thing with proxies. Let's say you have 100 tasks running on your bot and you're using residential proxies. Every single minute it's going to be using data. Your tasks use a small amount of data, but when you're running hundreds of tasks 24/7, then in that situation, you will be using a lot of data. For us to actually be botting, something needs to be profitable. So if we spend too much on proxies, we won't make any money from botting at all. So residential proxies are a bit of a problem child. The solution to this is ISPs and DC proxies. These are like very modern phone contracts where you have unlimited data, you pay £20 a month and you can do whatever you want. With residential proxies, because it's pay as you go, it allows you to have thousands of different IP addresses for quite a cheap price. With ISPs and DC proxies, you essentially rent out one IP address for a month's time, but with that one IP address, you have unlimited data. Obviously, if we're running our bot 24/7, residential proxies are the ones to stay away from. You want to be running with ISPs and DCs. The drawback to running with ISPs and DCs is because you don't have access to lots of proxies, you have to be careful with how many tasks you're running. Running about a 1-to-1 ratio on your ISPs to DCs with relatively high delays of like 5, 6, 7,000 plus in most cases, you should be okay with them ratios. Obviously, each site is specific. If you are running a site for a very long time with too low delays, it's very likely your proxies will get temporarily banned, so you might have to let them cool off. But obviously, the only way we can do this financially viably is to run ISPs and DCs. So stay away with residential proxies for this situation. So to recap, we now understand what it takes to run our bot 24/7, and we now understand what proxies we can and can't use. One thing to note, some sites cannot be botted. The reason for this is sometimes it might not be possible to use ISPs and DCs proxies because they are banned on this website. The next thing to take note of is that some sites do require manual intervention to get them to work. For example, Pokémon Center. Pokémon Center, you have to manually input your product IDs after the queue's gone live to the products that you actually want, because before a Pokémon Center queue goes live, there is never any idea or never really a scheduled drop happening. But with that lovely disclaimer out of the way, 2 ways to run products 24/7. I'm going to explain them both, the pros, the cons, what the situations might be, and things to take into account. Right now, so coming over to Stellar, there are 2 different ways you can run tasks 24/7. The first way is with a checkout task and a monitor task. The second way of running tasks 24/7 is to run just a checkout task continuously without a monitor task. So in this example, I'm going to be using the website Currys. The first thing you need to do is go to create task. We head over to create task and we basically select mode. The first thing we need to do is create our monitor task. What a monitor task does is it just essentially monitors a website to see if a product that is out of stock comes back in stock. Once it finds it's in stock, it does nothing after that. When it comes to selecting your profiles, really doesn't matter what you select. You can select any profile. And then checkout proxy. This is what proxy will be running on the monitor task. So for me, I'm going to select my ISPs. And then product SKU, we will type in our product SKU. To get our SKU, we're gonna head over to the Currys website and find the product that we want. The SKU, in our case, is this number at the top here. So I'm gonna select that, copy it, we're gonna head back over to Stellar, then we're gonna put this in the product SKU box. We're then gonna select our monitor delay. For this, we're gonna put in 6666, and then reset delay, we're gonna put this as 120,000. So monitoring delay is basically the delay in between each time the product will check for stock. So it will request a product page, check if the product's in stock, it will then wait 6,000 seconds until it checks it again. That is what the monitoring delay is for. The reset delay is basically when the monitor should restart after it finds a product's in stock. Essentially, there we go. We've got this all selected now. We click create, where you can see we now have 1 monitor task. If I click play on this, it'll be getting products, and as you can see, they're out of stock. Once it's past the monitoring delay, flicks back and forth and it goes to out of stock again. And we can see here, monitoring out of stock, monitoring out of stock. So now we've got a way to find out if our products are back in stock. What we need to do then is we need to create a checkout task. So we basically go to normal mode, we select another profile, we select proxies again, we put in our product SKU. It has to be the same product SKU that you're running in the monitor. Quantity 1, delay, we can put this to 1,000 or 2,000, let's say. Shipping method, you can just put standard. And then this tops cashback, NX rewards, complete savings, we can leave all them off. However, the watch task box here, we need to select this on, because essentially what will happen here is if we start our checkout task, it will not proceed until the monitor task actually finds a product in stock. So we'll click create. And as you can see here, we've got idle. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of how this works. So now we turn off the monitor task just for the purpose of this video. And then we basically start our checkout task. And we can see here, getting product, adding to cart, waiting for monitor to ping. It would not be using any data. It will sleep until it basically gets a notification from your monitor task saying that the product is in stock. The benefits of this, I could now duplicate, or I could have many different profiles and many different checkout tasks all set up. I can now click start all, and all of my tasks will now go to waiting for monitor ping, basically meaning they're sleeping, not doing anything, not using any data until this task says in stock. There is a drawback to using this method. What if the monitor task fails, and what happens if it fails to start all of your other checkout tasks? You've also got to think of one other drawback is that this setup is actually slightly slower than if you was running just a normal task that's constantly checking if a product's in and out of stock, because this monitor task, which is only running once every 6 seconds to find the products in stock, that will then start all of these tasks. And the reason that this can take longer is because if something restocks during your monitor task's delay, all of your checkout tasks will be delayed in starting until that monitor task picks it up. And now you're probably thinking, well, what happens if I created multiple different monitor tasks? And you are right in thinking that that is a good solution, because basically now, as you can see here, these will all check for stock at different times, and that drop in delay can increase the speed that your checkout tasks will start. Obviously, the more monitor tasks you are running for a specific product, then the more data you are going to be using, so you have to keep that in mind. So that is essentially the monitor watch task setup. It is slower than method 2, but it is also much more efficient on data, so it's all about getting that sweet spot. With that said, let me show you option 2. The way we do this is we essentially need to now create another group for the purpose of this video. So I'm gonna go to queries, I'm gonna basically call this 24/7, no monitor. So this time, instead of actually even bothering with a monitor task, we'll just create a normal mode task. We'll select one of my profiles, we'll select our checkout proxy, we'll select our SKU, quantity, our delay, put as 5,000, shipping method, all that good stuff. Watch task, leave this selected off, create, and here we go. If we click start, you'll essentially see this. This goes straight to add to cart, out of stock. Basically, what is happening here is this checkout task is actually working as a monitor task as well. It's constantly trying to check if a product's in stock. If it finds products in stock, it will continue to check out. Whereas our other tasks here, if we click start all on these, as you can see, these all go to waiting for monitor ping. The reason that this is good is because it essentially removes that possibility of the monitor task not working and it not starting your checkout task. You would essentially have 50 tasks all doing the same action over and over and over again. Like you can see here, all of these tasks are constantly checking if they're out of stock. They're all constantly running. And when they're constantly running, they're constantly using data. But if I quickly stop all my tasks now, and essentially I start each task individually, one by one, at different times, you can see that all of these tasks will all be essentially checking if a product's in stock at pretty much every half second, every second, depending on how many tasks you've run and how you've staggered them. So it reduces the chance that something could restock during your delay window and you wouldn't have a checkout task started. At the end of the day, what you've got to think about is, firstly, do I need to run residential proxies? If you need to run residential proxies, then monitor and checkout task might be the better option to keep costs down to actually make botting that drop profitable. The second thing you've got to think about is if you can get away with using ISPs, you can run a straight checkout task with just ISPs, but you've obviously got to be cautious that you don't have too many tasks per the amount of ISPs you have and your delays aren't too low, so you end up with a temporary ban. If you want to learn more about botting, I put together a free training video about exactly what people need to get into botting, the costs, how it works, all that good stuff below this video. You can check it out. We're also giving away a free scholarship to our Botting Mentorship, where we give you the bot, give you the proxies, give you the guidance, and get you on your way. We're doing that completely for free for one random person that registers down below. People, I'll see you in the next one.